everybody, my dad thinks his podcast is amazing, so please subscribe, give it 5 stars or whatever, and maybe he'll finally stop talking about it. Anyways, welcome to Sobriety.
Hey everybody, welcome back. So today is our special Christmas episode. Woohoo! We don't have a special guest. Yeah, happy holidays. We don't have a special guest today, but before we get started, I wanted to remind everybody to check us out on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you listen, of course. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Listening and sharing is the biggest thing. We say it every time. We want to keep our platform free and accessible. That was the whole point of this, is to not make it, a marketing thing, to spread awareness and to help people. So like, comment, subscribe, share, listen, save, download, love, praise, all the things.
Yes. Review, please.
And give us feedback, if there's something that you want us to talk about, or a type of guest you want us to have on, we
hit us up.
We started this just ourselves, and we want to make sure that we have a little bit of something for everybody. Mm-hmm. So feedback is always appreciated.
And then coming up in season 2, which just starts here in a couple weeks, we have some huge guests lined up for, the next, I don't know how many shows, but we've got a hell of a lineup coming up, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And obviously, always check us out on Instagram for our stories, right?
Yeah. And something else to mention is I finally finished the 30-day challenge.
Yes, we have the big unveil right here, which we'll also send out to everybody on Instagram.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Yes. So this is sort of a rough draft. I know you can't really see it, and if you're listening, you obviously can't see it. But once we are 100% done with it, we'll post it on Instagram. We can send it directly to you if you want.
Yeah.
But the gist of it is just 30 days. I think it takes 21 days to create a habit. So we went a little over that. And just 1 month, we want to make it something reasonable. Pretty much what it is every day you're going to do 2 15-minute movements that can use your imagination. If you're a workout person, you probably are already doing that or more every day. But it could be just walking around your house. It could be just standing up while you're watching a show and doing some lunges or whatever. It doesn't even have to be exercise based, just movement, get your blood flowing.
So do some squats.
Yeah. Just, you're like, wow, I really have been on my ass all day. I need to move myself.
That's right. Get your ass moving.
I do that all the time.
That's right.
I'm a sitter. 2 15-minute tech breaks. That's just honestly giving your brain and your eyes a rest, and also dissociating yourself from social media, which I find, the irony is not lost on us that we're telling you this as you are listening on a tech device.
And also at a time where you would normally do a death scroll. So don't do it, right before you go to bed. Usually when you do it anyway. So just a couple times throughout the day, just put the device down.
Or just do it whenever you want.
Okay.
Get creative. Right. I'll tell you, I'll say to you on behalf of our listeners what I always say to you. You're not the boss of me. Don't tell me what to do. Don't touch my things. Don't tell me what to do.
Okay.
Anyways, we joke. But, 2 15-minute tech breaks. I agree. Just take your mind away from it. Social media is not real. I mean, we try to make this podcast as real as possible, but when there's a camera in your face, it's not real. I mean, you're not going to act the way you normally do. So turn the shit off and take a break. Proud and attention list. So every day you want to write 2 lists. It's
not
just
list, 2 things.
2 things.
Yeah. One thing that you're proud of for the day, or the day before, depending on if you do it morning or night. That's completely up to you. And then one thing that you think needs attention or you need to get better at. So just do that every single day, just once, just one thing.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing with that, I had a little bit of a challenge finding the right verbiage, because I didn't want it to be like a pros and cons list, because I don't want any of this to be like a negative. Right. So it is more so wow, I did this today and I'm really proud of myself. I'm giving myself credit for being able to do this thing. And it could be anything. I mean, it could be something like you've been meaning to do the dishes for days, or you've been meaning to like send out a thank you note, or you exercised, or you didn't drink alcohol, or I mean, literally, or you didn't like talk shit to yourself today. It could be literally anything. And then I put attention because no matter what your journey is and how good you are at it, we are always evolving and we are always learning. So something that you're like, I want to get better at that, or I did this and I really need to dive deep into the why behind that. It's not a negative. It's not like, oh my God, I was such a lazy piece of shit today, I need to give that attention. No, that's not it. That's not it. It's just something that you want to focus more on. Yeah. That's all. And then we have say your affirmations and intentions. And again, this may be something you're already doing. I like to do them first thing in the morning. Yep. You can do them at night. It doesn't really matter. But just setting your intention for the day or for the next day, just saying like, whatever it is that you want to accomplish that day, it can be as broad or specific as you like. And then your affirmations. Again, this kind of goes back to the proud list, like reminding yourself that you are capable of doing hard things and that you are only bound by your own limits or whatever you want to do. No alcohol. I think that, the podcast logo is sober as fuck, no alcohol. Drop one vice. So that could be if you smoke cigarettes, if you have any other
if you got a bad sugar addiction, cut sugar out for 30 days.
Biting your nails, picking your face. That's me. I'm a picker. Just anything. I mean, we all have a little tick or a little vice, like chewing your lip, just something that you're like, I really need to stop doing that. And dropping one vice, that's one vice for the entire 30 days. Yes. I will probably put a footnote on there. Like it's not one. I mean, if you're dropping 30 vices,
we have it on the checklist so that you've accomplished it that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I didn't bite my fucking nails today.
Yep.
Check.
And then day 1 and day 30 have an extra little tidbit. And that's just day 1. Take a picture and smile. I feel like a hypocrite telling people to smile, but you don't have to. It's a light suggestion.
Yeah.
And then on day 30, take another picture. And that way you have a visual representation of your progress. You can post it if you want to. You don't have to. It's for you. All of this is for you.
You can send it to us too if you want to get it out there, but not to everybody. Well, send it to us. Why not?
Yeah. All of this is for you. We will be there to be accountability buddies and do the things to hold you accountable. But at the end of the day, you do this because you want to. There's no pressure. Also, if you miss a day, you don't have to start over. Yeah. You just pick up. So if you're on day 12 and then on day 13, you're like, fuck that challenge. Today is not my day. Then day 14 will be your day 13. Like it doesn't erase all the days you had before. And I think that what we're going to talk about is we're going to do some Instagram and Facebook lives. So we're going to do this challenge in real time. And that way you can hop on the lives and do it with us, or just to see like we didn't create this challenge and we're just sitting at home eating potato chips and getting drunk, watching everybody else, just picking our asses. We don't get drunk. But that was the point. No alcohol, get drunk. You know what I mean? Do you get the joke?
Yeah.
Do you get
funny joke.
Are you sure? Haha.
Yes.
Okay.
Funny joke.
But we're going to do it right. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. We're going to do the challenge in real time too. Mm-hmm. And I think the beautiful thing about it is we are very different in the way that we tackle things. We both accomplish a lot in a day, and we're both very productive and goal-oriented people. But the way you tackle them and the way I tackle them is different. So we'll have a little bit of everything for everybody. Mm-hmm. So
even like when I'm working and stuff like that, I'll go live and say, hey, here's the task I'm doing, just so you can see. Even when you're working, you can do this stuff. Mm-hmm. We try to make this as inclusive as possible for everybody. We've had a lot of people reach out because they've heard us talk about it on Lynn's podcast. So we were excited, and Jess really worked hard on narrowing this down for us. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you need an accountability partner, hell, reach out to us. We'll be happy to do that. If you want a copy of this in a PDF, send us a message. And we will just attach your email and just say, hey, I want to join the challenge. And we will actually email this to you so you can print it out. And if you can't do that, you can just take a picture on your phone. Jess is going to make it available that way. So you can literally just do it with your finger every day. Mm-hmm. However you want to keep up with it, that's up to you. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. And I'm going to have a couple different formats too. We really wanted to be inclusive. And the reason it's the 30-day show up challenge, just to kind of give a little shout out. I wanted to put the show up in there because 4-ish years ago, when I started my mental health journey, it all started with me canceling therapy appointment after therapy appointment with actually primary care, but she ended up doing a lot of mental health stuff for me. And she reached out to me and told me, listen, just show up. That's all you got to do. Like, you don't have to think about anymore. You just show up and sit down. And that's where it all started. And the same thing with Ryan, with Reframe. It was like, just show up. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to share. You don't have to have anything profound. All you have to do is just show up.
Yeah. It's kind of like, and I've heard this talked about a lot of times, it actually kind of got me going, was, you're saying show up, about even going to the gym or working out at home. Just put your fucking shoes on. You had a goal to go outside and walk, run, whatever. Put your shoes on and just go outside the door. Just walk out. I mean, you have to do it, but at least you're gaining the momentum to start doing it. You know what I mean? If you go to the gym, just walk in the door and walk out if you want to. Whatever. Just you're showing up. So at least you're doing the work, right?
There is actually significant research and studies that show, and you'll notice I do this on days when I have a lot to get done. For neurodivergent people, especially ADHD, in order for us to just trick our brains out of the ADHD paralysis, like when you get up in the morning, put actual shoes on.
Oh, yeah.
Like real shoes, like not slippers, put actual shoes on. And if you don't like to wear outdoor shoes on the inside, then you get just a cheap pair of shoes or an old pair of shoes that you only wear inside, because when you put your actual shoes on, your brain automatically thinks we're doing something, we're going somewhere. So it just naturally makes you more productive. And I have found that to be true. Like, you'll see me walking around the house in tennis shoes. People are like, why do you walk around the house in tennis shoes? I'm like,
I do it all day.
As
soon as I take my shoes off, it's like I'm ready to relax and go to bed.
Then I'm like, oh, I'm in my pajamas. Yeah. So, you just show up for yourself.
Absolutely.
That's the hardest part.
And reach out.
Yep. Now, holidays. We talked about this at Thanksgiving. Holidays are a difficult time of year for a lot of people. I'll share my story again. I've said it before, but it's been particularly difficult for me because this is the first holiday season without my mom. My mom passed away in April of this year. Hardest thing I have ever gone through or dealt with in my entire life by far.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been difficult. And talk about showing up. I have had to every day force myself to show up. I love the holidays. We've always been big holiday people. We were going to decorate the background for the podcast and stuff, but it just got to be too much. It's too much.
Well, I know it was tough for you to even, and I don't know if we talked about this or not on Thanksgiving, but it was tough for you to really get the tree decorated and stuff like that.
It was tough for me to get anything decorated, to be honest. You brought stuff out, and the Christmas decorations kind of sat in boxes in the living rooms. And talk about product permanence. I would walk by and just completely ignore that they were there. And I didn't escape. I mean, maybe a little bit of lightly, but it's just hard. Christmas was my mom's favorite holiday. The tree was always her thing. And I do think we touched on this in the Thanksgiving podcast, but it forced me to show up for myself. And it's still hard, It's going to be hard Christmas morning. It's going to be hard Christmas Eve. It's hard every single day. But my mom lost her parents at about the same age I was. Well, am. And I remember she taught us, she made us go back to school, and she's like, life keeps going whether you're ready for it or not. And we have kids and we have family, and those things don't stop. I'm not going to lie. I love the holidays, but this was the first year in my entire life that I'm ready to be done with them. No offense. but it's very bittersweet, you know, like I still love the holidays. I'm still excited about all the things. I love the Christmas tree. I love all the stuff, but I also kind of hate it this year too.
Yeah.
And such is life, though. Like, it was my mom passing for me. It could be whatever it is for anybody else. We don't, you know, quantify struggle. But yeah, talk about a show up challenge. Showing up, wrapping presents.
Yeah. I think Christmas is, to me, Thanksgiving is an easy holiday. I shouldn't say an easy holiday, but it can be, because you know, you just show up to somebody's house or you host Thanksgiving.
And it's so busy.
But you eat, right? Mm-hmm. And you're busy. You're cleaning something, cooking something, you know, hanging out with family members you do enjoy, you know, whatever it is. Watching football, there's so many moving parts, right? And then when you're done, everybody leaves. But the thing with Thanksgiving is, you know what you're going to do. You know, you're going to make a turkey or a ham, you know, whatever your tradition is. You know the sides you're going to make, the desserts, who's going to bring what, right? Christmas is like this added hardship because you feel like, oh my God, I got to buy this person a gift. Or what do I buy them? What are they going to like? So you're already thinking in your head, you're already out thinking yourself before you even start. Mm-hmm. Did I buy enough gifts? Oh shit, I bought too many. You know,
Christmas is more competitive.
It is. Yeah. And it's competitive, I think, in a bad way.
Yeah.
You know, we always tell our kids, you know, oh, it doesn't matter. So-and-so has so many presents. You have this many. It's the, you know, the quality, not the quantity. You know, you're always trying to justify shit for kids, which is funny. We do the same stuff, right? But, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to take care of you and not worry about all of that.
We do Christmas a little differently than a lot of people do, though. So, I mean, and I'm not going to, I don't know, maybe other people do this too. I don't know, but we have family and friends over on Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. And this is how it always was in my house growing up. And I think I started this when we got married, and you really liked it. I don't know how you did it growing up, but we would have friends and family over for Christmas Eve. And that's when we would like eat and open family gifts and watch
Christmas
movies.
Eve day.
Yeah, and decorate cookies and all that stuff. And then Christmas Day, I mean, if people want to come over, that's fine. But like, we're lucky to brush our teeth, right? We stay in our PJs all day long. We open gifts. I mean, we don't clean except for stuff that's absolutely necessary. It is truly a day of rest. Like, it is a day where there are no expectations. And then we even we'll eat
we order Chinese food every Christmas.
And I think that I started that just like one random year, and everybody loved it. And now our daughter will not let it go. She's like, Chinese food on Christmas. Because I know most people, they get up on Christmas morning and then they go to church, which is completely fine. And they go to families' houses and they cook and all that. I don't want to leave my house on Christmas. I'm tired. Mama's tired. Oh my God. I've bought all the gifts, and had you asking me, what the hell did you buy? And I've wrapped all the things, and I have broken up all the arguments. I mean, and you're great. You really are. I don't want to make it a sexist thing. Like, I buy and wrap all the gifts because I'm a control freak, you know, like I have to be in control of that. And that is really the one time a year that I spend the money, and it doesn't matter what you say. I just block you out.
You tell me, hey, dickhead, go to the store, go to Target, go to Walmart, and pick that stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, and we're typically not a stereotypical couple. Well, when it comes to Christmas, we so are. Like, we really, really are. Like, you really are the dad. Like,
I throw out a few ideas, but yeah, and I'm just like,
like, whatever. You're just as surprised as everybody else is for what everybody got for Christmas. But that's a stereotype that I own, because honestly, I love you so much. But if you were in charge of that, like,
I did good on my own for a long time. I think I did okay.
When I met you, you had a nice condo. You had a bed, mattress on the floor.
That's all I needed. I didn't waste money on that.
You were 30-something years old. You were a grown-ass man.
That's what I wanted.
On the floor.
Who cares?
I can't believe I actually dated you. You thought that would have been like a deal breaker. Now, if I met you now, I would be like, sir.
Yes. Saving my money.
Sure. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, I prefer to do that. I've always preferred to do it. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. You know, gift giving for me is a big deal. You always say, oh, you're going overboard, but I like to make it personal and meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
I feel if I had to say, identify as like a fictitious character as far as gift giving, I am Leslie Knope gift giving. Like I would
That's pretty strong.
To leave.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Oh yeah, come on. I would totally give people gifts on the anniversary of when we became best friends.
And hopefully you know that reference from
Parks and Recreation.
So,
100%. Because how many times have you had to be like, honey, like you are doing too much, and I'm like, I'm not doing enough. It's not enough. And that's, we could probably break that down into some of my mental health stuff, but we're not going there right now.
That's right, not today.
But yeah, I took that huge ADHD derailment to say that, Christmas is bittersweet. I'm having a lot of fun, and it's also, there will be a lot of tears shed Christmas morning, and that's okay.
Yeah, be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this. So looking back on this past year,
do I have to? The podcast is a great thing, but everything else.
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
I know you obviously you had one, big thing that affected you, right?
It was more than one.
But that was the biggest downturn of the year. But you've also you've changed a lot this year. I personally think you have, in a good way. So how do you think you've grown or changed over this past year?
Losing my mom changed a lot in me. I'll be interested to see what you think has changed in me, because your perspective and mine are different. I am still really trying to make a better effort at being more compassionate. For so long, I was stuck in this like hard victim mentality. Just feeling like nobody understood me. Nobody understood the way my brain functioned. And a lot of that was just a hangover from dealing with stuff, right?
Right.
But just understanding that you have to meet people exactly where they are. Nobody is perfect. And you either accept the fact that that's who they are and you love them for exactly where they are in their journey, or you choose to go an alternative route, maybe not have a relationship or whatever. But at the end of the day, hate and animosity and impatience and anger and resentment serves nothing. It actually depletes you.
Mm-hmm.
So, this year, my biggest focus has been I speak like I'm not very good at it. Okay. I still like pop off and go off the handle sometimes, but when things really invoke an emotional reaction out of me, I've been trying to sit and say, okay, how much energy is this worth?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it's worth all of your energy depending on what it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's worth absolutely nothing. So just trying to be a more understanding and compassionate person. Trying to interrupt less. That's part of my ADHD too. Not using that as a scapegoat, but like when you know better, you do better, right? You do the same thing. We'll be talking and you're like, if I don't get it out right now, like
I'll forget. That's my biggest thing.
But also realizing, and if I forget, who cares? Is it really that important of a point that I just have to like?
Well, if it's that important, you'll probably remember it anyway. And I have a hard time with that myself.
Yeah. So, and I think that goes back to being a more, compassionate person, listening to listen and not to respond or speak. I think the majority of people feel that way. Forgiveness, a lot of forgiveness this year. A lot of forgiveness. I was not a very forgiving person prior to this year. Whether it be for good reason or not, it doesn't matter. I was not a very forgiving person. And now you're going to make me emotional. I refuse to cry in front of people. But yeah, being more compassionate, more forgiving, understanding that humans are flawed and life is just really fucking hard. like for everybody. It is really hard, and most people don't wear it on their sleeves and talk about it like we do. Trying not to be so judgmental that just because somebody does something differently the way that I do it, or just because someone moves at a different pace or prioritize things differently than I do, it doesn't make it right or wrong. What the fuck do I know? Nothing. Yeah. You know, who am I to say what's right or wrong? So things like that, just slowing down and being more thoughtful is a good overall way to put it. So, and I'll ask you the same question, but so what changes have you noticed in me this past year?
I can definitely tell as you said, like your compassionate side has definitely changed big time. Forgiveness, I think it has been big, but I think your patience has made you forgive easier. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Because you become a much more patient person. You don't hurry for anybody. You used to, I think. You do not hurry for anybody. Mm-hmm. Even if I say, hey, we got a podcast in 15 minutes, you'll be like, it's okay. It'll be fine. And I'm like, hello. And the funny thing is, even if we're 5 minutes behind, it doesn't fucking matter. And I've actually, I'm getting close to where I've adapted that myself. I'm not 100% there, but I am getting there thinking, mm-hmm. I always joke in my work that I'm always late to meetings, and I'm always late because that makes me the most important person in the room, mm-hmm. which is a little shitty, but I kind of like it. So
you haven't made that joke in a while. I think that was also a drunken joke because that was also your way of being like, I'm hungover and feel like shit and overslept. So I'm gonna,
No, it actually was. I would always try to be 5-10 minutes late just because it did. It made most.
Which is such a self-righteous thing to do, terrible. Right? I think the reason, and it's a balancing act, right? Because you do have to be cognizant of other people's time, okay? Yeah. And again, I'm not using it as a crutch, but like we all know ADHD people are notoriously late and all that, but when you know better, you do better. For me, what I'm working on to right now is I used to do things specifically because it made other people more comfortable or they thought it was best mm-hmm. for me.
Yeah.
And so, when I first started my mental health journey, I always use the joke of like, I literally had to sit down and be like, do I actually like the color blue?
Right.
Like, do I like it or do I just like it because other people mm-hmm. have, my whole life I've been told I like the color blue, and maybe I do, maybe I don't. And, that's a very simplified example. But as far as like the moving on time, right? And I tell you this, and this is an example again, I can't take on your stress. Like, I'm not doing anything that is hindering anything or that is harmful or is going to make a big difference. So if it is eating away at someone else, the way that I move, the way that I move through things and react to things, that's just not my problem. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that that is a boundary you set with people, right? Like, you cannot absorb other people's anxiety. Like, my baseline is anxious. I know it seems like I am cool and calm and collected. That is like, thank you to healthcare providers and medication and a lot of work. But you know this, if it's like a minor stress, I will like flip out. But when it is something life changing or earth shattering, I am cool as a cucumber. And I mean, when my mom passed, I'm not saying I didn't like fall apart, but this, it was like signing the paperwork, making the plans. I mean, it was very strategic and I got everything done flawlessly because my baseline is anxious. So I have learned that, like, again, it goes back to how much of my energy does this deserve?
Right.
So if you are anxious about something, I'm like, honey, everything's going to be fine. This is not something, I don't want to say it's not important, but it's not something that's super time sensitive, or me moving at this pace. It's not affecting anything other than making you anxious. So you have to work through that.
Which I said I am.
I have it on tape. Oh my God. I have it.
Showing your age.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Change that VHS tape out.
Or cassette tape. That's what I'm thinking, right? Like recording on cassette tape. I have it documented now that, but yes, that is what has caused me to be a more patient person, is not allowing other people's stresses. So what are some things, and this will kind of be the last thing we touch on before we go, what are some things that you feel you have learned or changed or grown from this year?
Hitting 1 year sober was huge to me. That to me, that's the biggest. It's the biggest growth because it's led me to a lot of things. This podcast. I was able to join, a group of people that, had a year or two under their belt. And I kind of threw this idea out here about doing this podcast. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, we'd love that. We'd listen to that. I thought, screw it. We'll try it. And look where we are today, Had it been the old Ryan, your ex-husband would like to call him.
Yeah, I love that. We'll have to touch on that.
He would have never even got started. The idea would have went 1 year. I would have talked about it. Man, that'd be awesome. I could do that. Never thought about it again. So my following through on things is a huge growth because I've really followed through. The 75 hard thing, I did a full year of it and finished it back in November. That was kick ass. I still cannot believe that I did that. My mental growth has been huge. Started with a therapist this year, something I never thought I would do. That has been phenomenal. She's great. I love her. She's been phenomenal for me. Our growth, I think, has been really big.
Oh, yeah.
We, obviously we have arguments. Everybody does. But the way we resolve them as far as like walking away, giving time and space, realizing, like you said, it's time. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth, dying on this hill to make you feel like you're right? And it's not.
Mm-hmm. Are we arguing because it's important or because we just want to be right?
Yeah, you just want to be right. And that's changed. Friendships have really changed. To me, it's been a huge amount of growth for me. Being able to set boundaries, I've never done that before. My love for family and friends it's huge now. Acts of service that I've never done. Just random shit with helping people out. It has made me grow so much because it feels great to do things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of positive stuff for me. Nothing but positive. There's been zero negative. Coming January 1, it'll be my first calendar year of being fully sober since I was a young teenager, which is just mind-blowing that it's been that long.
Boy.
That I have not had a sip of alcohol, which is it's insane. No gambling, no smoking, no nothing. Just a full fucking year of rocking and rolling. So it's been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty good.
So what I've noticed about you is you used to always be a quantity person.
Yeah.
It's never enough. It's never enough money. It's not a big enough house. It's never enough alcohol. I remember when we first built our house, right? And we moved in and this shows the differences really between the way our brains function. And I think you're more like me now than you are. And yes, I call, for everyone listening, the joke behind the ex-husband thing is I call pre-sober Ryan my ex-husband because I mean, he is. Like, I divorced that person.
Yeah,
in all honesty, that night that you got sober, or really the day that I started my mental health, I divorced you. Like, I was done. And I've talked about that. Like, if you had taken one more sip of alcohol, I was out, right? I already talked to a lawyer. So I call that my ex-husband. So if you hear me referring to my ex-husband, it is him before he got sober. So we both call. And I think we both liked that too, because it was the best way to say like a person who no longer exists, you know, like an ex-husband. And then we can talk shit about you before, like, ugh, God, my ex-husband was the worst.
Yeah, I even blame stuff on him too.
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
Yeah, that was your
You're like, don't bring me that baggage from your ex-husband, you know? And I love it. I love it. It's such a fun way to like talk about it because it's great. Anyways. Yep. But my ex-husband used to be all about quantity. Like I said, when we first built this house and moved in, we had a hiccup. We wanted to build a pool. What like first world white people problems, right? Like we wanted to build a pool and it got pushed back for various reasons, as these things do. And you just were like so fucking pissed because even though we had the house and we should be happy just living in the house, the pool is extra. Like, even if we never had a pool, like we could live the rest of our lives fine, but it wasn't good enough. Yeah. And you even said that, like you knew that about yourself.
Oh yeah.
You're like, no, like it's not good enough. And then we got the pool and it still wasn't nice enough and all this stuff. And so my ex-husband was a really big dick about those things. He like never took 5 minutes to just appreciate what was in front of him. But the good news is my new beau stops and enjoys the moments. So I think now, like if that same scenario, you know, yeah, we were both irritated because anytime you want something and you don't get it or it doesn't happen, like that's just a human emotion. But I think that you would now just be like, you know, it's irritating and annoying and I don't want to like keep talking about it because it annoys me, but whatever. Like it's just a fucking pool. It's a hole in the ground. Like saves me money. You have become a much more quality person. Like it is not about the amount of something. Like people could do anything in the world for you, could give you any amount of money. But if there are strings attached or it's not quality or it's not thoughtful, then you're more prone to be like, it doesn't mean anything. Right. And you were not that way before, you know, like you were very much like, ooh, look at the shiny, pretty thing. Like, I love it. And then once you got it, you know, you wanted something else. But now you are much more thankful. You really do see the substance behind things. And we actually had a talk about this, I think just a couple of days ago, how, you know, it's like slowing down and realizing it is enough. What we have is enough. It's more than enough. I mean,
and being able to enjoy things like, you know, the holidays together and being sober and
right.
And
like you're alive. What's going on. You know what I mean? And you go to your doctor.
Because as I think we talked about this yesterday or day before, you know, I'm on the downside of my life.
Oh, stop it. I hate when you say that. Are you kidding?
But I am.
There is no such thing. Okay. This is the goal for next year.
No, but what I'm saying, I know, but what I'm saying is like, when you get that way, you take like these holidays for granted, I think. A lot. In early part of your life, you do. It's like, you know, you can't wait for it to come. Well, now it's like, I can wait for it. Used to, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for Christmas. I can't wait for Christmas. Well, now I can wait.
Well, that goes to because
I'm
quantity.
Enjoying like
it's never enough.
I can enjoy the week before Christmas. I can enjoy 3 days before Christmas because I can enjoy, you know, having family in the house and making dinner or having a good meal or going to a movie, just spending time with people. That a lot of that has changed big time. Because even last year it was like, you know, I can't wait to get to a year. I can't wait to get to a year. But I really didn't enjoy the journey to get there.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and then once I hit it, it's like, now what? You know? Well, now I'm in that phase where I am enjoying the fucking journey. And when people ask me, you know about it, or, you know, God, I'm only at 60 days. No, you're not only. You're at fucking 60 days, and you're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing fucking awesome. Enjoy the whole ride, because I didn't. You know, I was kept future tripping over, you know, what was going to come next. I didn't need to. I just needed to enjoy the moment, enjoy the time, because you're only going to have so many.
I have a big compliment to give you. I don't know that here. I'm going to.
Thank God this is being taped.
I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, because it's so.
This is being taped.
It is so big that and this will be the last thing we say before we end the podcast, because it is so big.
Oh, I got to say something before.
Okay, that's fine. It's so big that I don't know that your little man brain will be able to hold it all.
Oh God, here we go. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be something nice.
The biggest change I have seen in you this year, your traffic, anger, and anxiety, chef's kiss. It has gotten so good.
Thanks to my therapist.
I could not believe it. And if you've listened to previous podcasts, you know this is like a huge deal. Mm-hmm. And we are about to take a very long road trip post-Christmas. So I am so excited. I might even go and buy, I might make a chart and get those little fun stickers. And I'll be like, you know what? You get a star for good behavior. And I'm joking, but it's true. I noticed it. I can't remember, but I've noticed it a couple times. But the first time I noticed it the other day, and it's not that you don't like it. I mean, you'll still say something like, oh, come on, man. But you'll catch yourself, and you're either swallowing it down like a hard pill, or you're just internally laughing at yourself just
I laugh at myself because it's why am I wasting energy?
It's just traffic.
Yeah, I can't drive the car for this fucking guy.
It's just it's just traffic.
It is. It is what it is. So
it's just traffic.
We'll get there eventually.
So that's the biggest change. It's huge. It's earth shattering for me, because traffic, I mean, it bothers everybody, but it doesn't really bother me that bad. So I noticed.
Thank you.
I know. I just made your head explode, didn't I?
Yes. Mind blown. Well, before we wrap up, I did want to say a big thank you to everybody out there. This podcast, again, was just made of, hey, we'll give it a try.
This season.
Yeah,
it's not
season.
over.
And it has turned into this really badass thing. And we get so many people reach out to us, and the loving messages we get from people is mind blowing. People that it's changed their lives, and that was the whole point of this. We've had people reach out and say, hey, I joined Reframe because of you. I tried 75 Hard because of you. And just the little things that we've done to help people. Like I said, if I just help out one person each week, that's what it is to me. That's what I love. It's made it all happen for me. And I thank all of you, each and every one of you that have listened every week. Thank you so much. Also, if you are sober curious and you've listened, we have a lot of people that are sober curious who've listened, and you're not a member of Reframe and you would like to join, please message me. I will be able to give you a free trial for Reframe. If you want to try it out for 7 days, you want to try it out for a month, I'll be happy to help you out, give you a code for that, and get you started on Reframe, especially with the first of the year coming up. We got a lot of people that do dry January. Mm-hmm. So if you're sober curious and you want to check it out, curious, not curious. If you want to try it out, please do check out the meetings, whatever, the task, daily task, the readings, the neuroscience behind it, which I can't wait for a podcast about neuroscience coming up soon with a favorite author of mine. Please reach out to me and I'll be happy to set you up with a trial on that.
And show up for yourself, show up for others.
Yes. The challenge is coming up January 1. We're going to drop it before then, but start January 1. We'll be starting it with you.
Yep. We love y'all.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year. Fuck 2024. Bye.
Bye. If you love the podcast, which I know you do, please like, subscribe,
and hit that notification bell to get notified every time we post.
That's right. Dropping them, baby. Word.